Hello, today is week 9, day 1. This video will be posted right here. Today's goal is students will find the missing hypotenuse of a right triangle. Now, right triangles are covered by a theorem called Pythagorean theorem. And so basically what happens is if we have this right triangle here, and if we were to build squares on each side of the triangle, it basically states that this small square plus this medium square will equal this larger square. And so the big one's always going to be the one that's equal to. Way that we say this in math is that a square plus b square will always equal c squared. And so we'll see the formula come up and we'll see what we're talking about. If you think about this, this would be a 9 square, and this is going to be a 16 square. So, and this is 25. So 9 plus 16 will equal 25. They'll be the exact same size. So how does that look for your math problems? So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to log in through Clever and go to IXL. You'll want to make sure that your name is up here in the right-hand corner. And so here's basically what Pythagorean theorem says. It says a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. And so when we talk about a problem, we have to label our sides. C squared is always going to be the one across from the right angle. And so then the other two always label the smallest one A and the second one B, the next biggest one B. So this says that 5 squared plus 12 squared is equal to c squared. And so one of the easiest ways to do this is just type that into a calculator. And so if we type that into a calculator, we can say 5 squared plus 12 squared is equal to 169. So, but you're not quite finished. So this is going to be 169. It's equal to c squared. Now, here's the weird part is I don't want to know what c squared is. I want to know what c is. So in order to undo a square, I got to find the square root. If I do that on that side, the square root of c squared is just going to be c. So then we go back to our calculator and we say the square root, this symbol here, and it was 169, is equal to 13. And so then I would just type that in, 13. Go ahead and click submit. You get a perfect score. And then we start completely over again with the next problem. Again, I label the small one A, the next one B, C is always the one across from the right angle. And so we're always trying to find C for this particular IXL. So then again, it says A squared plus B squared equals C squared. This is used a lot in construction. It also tells you whether or not something is going to have a right angle. So when we look at this, I want to do 6 squared plus 8 squared. It's going to be equal to c squared. And I'm just going to use the calculator. So then I type in 6 squared plus 8 squared, and it equals 100. So 100 is equal to c squared. I'm going to find the square root of both c squared and 100. C squared is always going to come out to be c when we find the square root. And then we go back to our calculator, we hit the square root, we type in 100 underneath of it. We see that it's 10. And so here we put 10. and then we type in 10 here. Again, we're going to start over. We do the exact same process every single time. I always label the small one A, the medium one B, and then C is always going to be across from the right angle. So C is also could be called the hypotenuse. You'll see it here. It says hypotenuse. And so again, A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. And then we sub in our numbers for A is 12. So 12 squared plus 16 squared is going to be equal to C squared. Go back to your calculator. 12 squared plus 16 squared is 400. It's equal to C squared. You're going to find the square root of both. C squared is going to be C. And then you can go back to your calculator, hit the square root sign, type in 400. You'll see that it's equal to 20. We type in 20 here. Now, as later on, you'll learn that all the sides have names. So this one will be called the hypotenuse. C will always be the hypotenuse. The other two are just called legs. The cool thing about it is it doesn't really matter which one they are. One's called leg A, one's called leg B. You can actually switch them around. So these two are called legs. The only one that matters is you have to know that the hypotenuse is the longest one, and it's always going to be across from the right angle. If you have questions or need help with these types of problems, feel free to email me. Sometimes it'll say round to the nearest tenth, so just so we know what that looks like, if it says 3.49, we look at this number here. If it's 5 or above, we round up. So this would become 3.5. However, if it's below 5, so if it was 3.44, we round down. And so we look at this number here, and it would be 3.4. Again, if you have questions, feel free to email me. Just so we're on the same page, if you do want to Google someone else's video, this is called Pythagorean theorem. There's a lot of great videos out there.